Hey guys, Richard Blaine here. Thanks for stopping by my Easy Cooking channel tonight. You know, tonight I'm not going to make any pasta and I'm not going to make any Asian dishes. Tonight I want to talk about a dish that takes balls to make. I mean, everybody thinks they have balls, you know. Everybody thinks they got balls made of brass or balls made out of rocks, okay? So tonight I thought about making a dish that took balls to make, okay? Now, everybody thinks they have big balls, and I don't care how big you think your balls are, because I'll tell you right now, my balls are bigger than yours. And the balls I'm using tonight to make dinner are these balls. And I'm pretty sure these balls are bigger than anything you guys are packing around right about now. That's right. These are Bull's balls. Rocky Mountain oysters, okay? Where did I get these? Well, you know, you can get them at the butcher, but about a week or two ago, we had the Pro Bowl rodeo here, and, well, let's just say 2 or 3 of the bulls that were scheduled to ride didn't make it because they owed me a little money. So what I have here is about 2 pounds of Rocky Mountain oysters. These are Bull's balls, and guess what? I'm not frying them like everybody else does. For crying out loud, when you look up Rocky Mountain oysters, everybody just fries them and fries them. Anyway, I'm not frying these balls, okay? Tonight, I'm going to make something called prairie pate, or bull butter, or Rocky Mountain oyster pate. That's right, I am going to make pate out of bull's balls. And I'm going to show you how to hold your balls. I'm going to show you how to peel your balls. I'm going to show you how to cook your balls, and even how to blanch your balls in case you ain't never done any work with your balls. So as usual at YouTube 15 minutes, let's have a bowl and I'll see you on the other side. Okay folks, here it is. This is 1 bull's testicle. It is about 1.5 pounds of meat. Can you imagine having 2 of these swinging between your legs? For crying out loud. If I had 2 of these swinging between my legs, I wouldn't be able to walk. Shit, I wouldn't be able to breathe. But this is what a bull's testicle looks like. You got veins, you got skin, okay? Right here is the attachment to where, it swings. This piece right here, you could basically cut right off if you have a nice sharp knife, and I hope you do because you need one for this, okay? You'll find some excess skin, okay? But that's okay. There's a particular technique to skinning this oyster. Now this oyster, and there's blood, so if you're not used to blood, you might want to stay away from this. But there's a particular way of doing this. This piece of meat, this testicle, is not fully thawed. You want it somewhat solid. It makes it easier to get this skin off. The skin is like leather. But you are going to need a sharp knife. There are going to be veins. There is going to be blood. So what you basically end up doing without too much pressure is you start from one end and you rock your blade. Okay? Almost like you would for skinning the animal. And chances are you will see some blood, okay, and that's fine. Chances are you might also cut a little bit of a gully into the testicle called scoring, but that's okay because when the weekend's over and you go back to work and your friends say, "Hey, what'd you do for the weekend?" You can say, well, I scored some balls, and see the look on their face. But as you can see, my knife is razor sharp. It's very thin, so there's a light scoring here, and you're going to want to follow that around. Okay, here's the attachment point. That'll take a little more effort to get through. Okay, then you want to rock the blade again, just like you're skinning. If any of you have ever gone hunting, you see how easily that splits. If the knife is sharp, it'll split. This is more excess tissue that you don't need. I would rock the blade through it. Okay, score at the end. Okay, now you have 1 completely scored testicle. Now, the trick is getting underneath the membrane that connects the skin to the testicle. There we go. There we go. See how it separates? Okay, if this was completely defrosted, this would be a wrestling match. But this is like getting your finger under chicken skin. But what you want to do is when you get your finger underneath the skin of the testicle is with your other thumb, you want to support this flesh so that as you're pulling this skin away, you don't damage the testicle. This connective point is giving me a little bit of a wrestling match. There we go. Gonna cut the rest of that vein away. There we go. Okay. See, this is the veins that attach the testicle to the bull, and sometimes that'll give you a bit of a problem. It needs to come off. So you support the flesh by holding it down with one hand, and you get your hands and your fingers underneath that membrane. Here we go again. Make a little cut. There we go. And as I said, there's going to be some blood. Okay? So if you don't like working with bloody balls, then I suggest you stay away from this here. Okay? Alright. That is one side. Okay? Now, the other side, since it's already basically been started, and come over here. There's even still more of that vein tissue. There we go. Gonna cut that away. When this comes off, I'll cut it away. Alright? You wanna get your finger, here we go, underneath that skin. There we go. Support here so you can peel the skin off. Ah, here we go. There we go. And there you have it. Okay, one freshly skinned Rocky Mountain oyster. This is now about 1 pound of meat, and that's all we're going to work with, because this 1 pound of meat, along with the other ingredients, will produce 3 to 5 cups of pate. This blood has to be rinsed off, and so I am going to rinse that off right now, and then we're going to move on to the other step of brining this in salt water for about 2 hours to get the excess blood and impurities out of this ball. So I hope you enjoyed watching me skin this ball, and let's have a ball making some pate. Testicle pate. I'll be right back. Okay guys, there's the ball. There's the one bull's ball. I weighed it. It's exactly 1 pound actually, and right now it's sitting in just a little bit over a half a gallon of water with about a tablespoon of salt. And that salt is going to help pull out any impurities in the testicle itself. Okay, now I'm going to have to let it sit in there for a minimum of 2 hours, and I'm also going to add about a tablespoon of white vinegar, or maybe even some lemon juice for a little acid to assist in the purification. You can use. So there's the oyster right there. That's some of the impurities coming out. Actually, the salt water brining for 2 hours got most of the impurities and blood out. So I'm only going to blanch this here for about 2 or 3 minutes so it doesn't get too rubbery. But there it is, one perfect Rocky Mountain oyster. I'm going to let this blanch for about 2 more minutes, and then we're going to cut it thin. We're going to fry it in a pan, and then we're going to grind it up into a lovely testicle pate. I'll tell you what, this recipe just drives me nuts. How's about you? But making it... Okay guys, so here we got one big bowl, okay? One perfectly shaped bull testicle, okay? It's still kind of soft. If you blanch it too long, it's going to get kind of rubbery, and that's not the consistency we want when making this pate. So you take a nice sharp knife and you make some thin slices, okay? 1/4 inch or even thinner, okay? Because remember, you are cutting ball, see? Nice slice, all right? Doesn't that look yummy? Cut ball, all right? Now, the trick is that the thinner the cut, the quicker they'll cook in the oil, but I find for what we need here, 1/4 inch is just about right, okay? And here we go. There we go. Get the knife underneath it, see? There we go. And we'll end up frying it in peanut oil in 1 or 2 batches. It depends on the size of the skillet. I'm using a 12-inch skillet, so I'll probably get to do the whole thing in one shot. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. This is such a ball to make. All right. You know, regular chicken liver pate is fun, and beef liver pate is fun, but sometimes you got to be a little more unique and go out and get some balls, okay? And that's what cooking is all about, is balls. This is the last cut. This one's going to be a little thicker than a quarter, but that's okay. And they're going to cook in peanut oil. You could dust them with flour. I'm not going to. And they'll take about 2 or 3 minutes per side. They're nice and flashy. And I'm going to rinse these off one more time, and then we're going to fry them. So hold on tight. Okay guys, here we go. One of the things you want to make sure you do after you cut your bull testicles is to dry them off on paper towels. Because if you leave them wet, they're going to crackle and spatter and spit. Now I've got this peanut oil on a medium heat, probably around 300, 325, and I'm going to lower it just a little bit while I'm putting these testicles in. Okay. Get these nut slices in there. Yep, I'll be able to do the whole ball in one pan. Okay. There we go. I'm going to let these ball slices fry for about 3 minutes on each side. Medium heat's doing good. I'm using peanut oil. Now let me be clear, okay? Rocky Mountain oyster recipes are not diet recipes, okay? This pate is not a diet recipe. This is peanut oil, then we have eggs going in, okay? And we have butter going in. This is not a diet testicle recipe. So if you're on a diet, you might want to put these balls in your mouth. If you don't care about the calories, then put these balls in your mouth because they're going to be delicious. So I'm going to give these ball slices 3 minutes on this one side, and then I'm going to flip it over for about 3 minutes on the other side, and then we're going to move into making the pate. Guys, I just flipped the ball slices over, and you can see they've browned nicely on the side. I had them for about 3 minutes on the one side. Now I'm going to cook them for 3 minutes on this side. They got a nice brown ring on them in all their bally goodness. So 3 minutes on this side. I'm going to put them on a plate, let them strain, let them cool, and then we're going to grind up some pate. All right, guys, here comes the fun part, making the pate. So I've drained the excess oil off the Rocky Mountain oysters, and I've cut them into smaller, manageable pieces. Okay, just to make it easier on the processor, I cut the nut into smaller, manageable pieces. Okay, now to the Rocky Mountain oyster, I'm going to add 12 tablespoons. That is a stick and a half of butter. Except in this case, I'm using ghee. Okay, get those whey solids out of there. Okay, and to that, I'm going to add some onion, regular brown onion. Okay, that's all. And I'm going to give this a quick pulse. Okay, the ghee is everywhere. I'm going to give this a quick pulse. That's all. That's all. Just to get it going. Okay, and to this, I'm going to add some hard-boiled eggs, roughly chopped, once again, to make it easy on the processor. Okay, to make it easy on the processor. Okay, that's all for that step. Okay, now we are going to add some toasted walnuts that I toasted this morning. You could use plain walnuts, but then again, the flavor would be rather plain. And we're going to add some chicken stock to get everything to move. Okay, there we go. I'm going to grind this down. And we're almost done. Just a few more ingredients. A little fresh nutmeg, a little bit of lemon juice, okay, some garlic, roughly chopped, some salt, have to have the salt, okay, a little bit of cayenne powder, not too much, we're not going for super heat here, okay, but just a little bit, okay, and I'll put the lid back on. I'm going to grind this down a little bit. Alright, almost done. I know it doesn't have the same kind of brown color as chicken liver pate, but that's okay. We're going to give it a little bit of a kick with about 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard right there. I like the coarse ground stuff. And about 2 to 3 tablespoons. You can use bourbon or you can use brandy. I'm using bourbon. I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons. Okay. Give it a little bit of a kick. And I am going to pulse this down, and then I'm going to let it grind down into a smooth consistency. Okay guys, there you have it. 2 tureen dishes of Bull's Balls Rocky Mountain Oyster Pate. Bull butter, calf butter, prairie butter, swing paste, swing butter, okay? There's so many things you can call it, okay? But basically what it is Rocky Mountain Oyster Pate. Bull's Balls Pate with lots of delicious spices, okay? Now what I have to do is I have to put this in my refrigerator for about 4 or 5 hours for it to get solid, because remember, there's a lot of ghee in there. And then when I'm ready to serve it, I'll take it out and serve it at room temperature. My little mini processor is good for about, I think it's a 6-cup processor, and right here, these both right here are about 3 cups each. Okay, so here it is. I hope you have the balls to make this recipe. I hope you can find the balls to make this recipe, either at your local supermarket or butcher. It just takes balls to make and balls to eat, but it certainly is delicious, and the flavor will drive you nuts. I want to thank you for stopping by. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Hey guys, Richard Blaine here. Thanks for stopping by my Easy Cooking channel tonight. I just thought I'd mix it up, okay, and make something a little bit different, because you know my specialties are Asian and Italian, and I just thought I would take some balls in the hand and make something a little bit different. Something that would drive you a little bit nuts. Something that takes little balls to make. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you make this recipe. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on my next video. Take care.